Everything you think you know about pirate weapons is probably wrong. Movies, video games, even Halloween costumes have built an entire arsenal of gear that real pirates never carried, and in some cases, couldn't have used even if they tried. Today on My History Bites, we're tearing down the biggest weapon myths from the Golden Age of Piracy, and trust me, some of these are going to ruin scenes you've loved for years. Before we dive in, make sure you subscribe to My History Bites so you never miss the real stories behind pirate legends, forgotten sea battles, and the hidden rules that shaped life on the open ocean. Now let's dig into the weapons Hollywood invented, and the ones pirates would have laughed at. Section 1. The giant curved scimitar pirates never carried. If you close your eyes and picture a pirate, chances are they're holding a massive curved scimitar, something straight out of a desert fantasy film. But here's the truth. Real pirates would have ditched that thing overboard the moment they set foot on a ship. Those huge blades were heavy, slow, and absolutely terrible in tight quarters. A pirate ship wasn't a wide-open battlefield. It was a maze of ropes, rails, masts, and panicked bodies scrambling across slippery planks. A long theatrical sword was a liability, not a weapon. Caribbean pirates stuck with short, brutal cutlasses, cheap, sturdy, and perfect for slashing in close combat. The giant scimitar isn't a pirate weapon. It's a Hollywood prop borrowed from stories set thousands of miles away. But this is just the first popular weapon fantasy that collapses once you look at the real history. And what comes next is even more unbelievable. Section 2. The long rifle fantasy that never happened. Movies love showing pirates taking perfect long-distance shots with elegant rifles. It looks dramatic, but it never happened. A long rifle on a rocking ship deck? Forget it. You'd have a better chance firing one from a trampoline. Rifles were slow to load, slow to aim, and extremely fragile at sea. Moisture ruined powder, salt water corroded barrels, and even if one did fire, the recoil could send a pirate stumbling across the deck or straight into the ocean. Instead, pirates preferred something far more practical. Pistols. Lots of pistols. They carried them in belts, sashes, and even stuck between their teeth. A pistol fired once, maybe twice if you were lucky, and then it was dropped and replaced with another. It wasn't glamorous, but it worked. So the idea of a sharpshooting pirate sniping from the crow's nest? Pure fiction. But as unrealistic as rifles were, the next weapon myth reaches a level of absurd that even Hollywood rarely questions. Section 3. The handheld cannon illusion. Let's talk about one of the wildest myths ever, the handheld cannon. Swivel guns, the small cannons mounted on rails, were absolutely real. Pirates used them to blast grape shot into enemy crews, but firing one from the hip, like some early Blackbeard version of an action hero, impossible. A real swivel gun could weigh anywhere from 40 to 100 kilograms. Just lifting one was a chore. Firing it without the mount would rip your shoulder apart and probably send you flying backward. There's no historical record of anyone insane enough to attempt this, let alone a pirate relying on it in battle. The truth? Pirates fought smarter, not harder. They used mounted guns to cripple ships at close range and rushed in before the smoke cleared. Swivel guns were tools of terror, not handheld grenade launchers. But if that seems over the top, wait until you hear the next popular pirate weapon that never existed outside of fantasy novels. Section 4. Throwing axes, the weapon pirates avoided completely. Throwing axes might look incredible in shows and games, but on a pirate ship, they were useless. Deadly at short range on land, absolutely disastrous at sea. Imagine trying to throw an axe on a deck shifting under your feet. Wind whipping in unpredictable directions. Your target dodging, ducking, and swinging ropes. Missing doesn't just mean dropping your weapon. It means watching your only backup disappear into the ocean forever. Pirates knew that any weapon that can leave your hand is a weapon you might lose permanently. They needed gear that stayed with them. Knives, daggers, cutlasses, pistols. Tools that worked in tight spaces and didn't vanish into the waves. But this next myth takes the cake for being one of the most widespread and the most impossible. Section 5. The Katana Delusion. For some reason, modern culture has decided pirates carried samurai swords. Maybe it's cosplay, maybe it's fan art, maybe it's the internet mashing together two things people think are cool. Either way, it's completely untrue. During the Golden Age of Piracy, Caribbean crews had absolutely no access to Japanese blades. Katanas were high-status, culturally specific weapons, forged by specialists in Japan. Not something you'd find floating around Port Royal. Yet pirates with katanas show up everywhere. Games, shows, even historical recreations that should know better. And while pirates did come across exotic goods, swords of this quality weren't exactly lying around like spare belts. But if katanas sound unrealistic, wait until we get to the combat style Hollywood insists pirates mastered. One that defies physics. Section 6. The dual-wielding Slayer myth. Dual-wielding is one of those things that looks incredible on screen, but falls apart in real life. The idea of a pirate holding a pistol in one hand and a sword in the other, dancing across the deck with flawless coordination, just isn't real. For starters, pistols were wildly inaccurate. They weren't used mid-sword fight. They were fired at point-blank range and immediately discarded. Trying to balance a smoking, single-shot pistol in one hand while swinging a blade with the other would slow you down, throw off your aim, and leave you wide open. Real pirates fought brutally and efficiently. They shot first, dropped the pistol, and closed the distance with a blade or dagger. No flourish, no dance, no dual-wielding acrobatics. Still, as exaggerated as this myth is, it's nothing compared to the medieval fantasy weapons some people swear pirates carried. Section 7. Maces, morning stars, and brutal fantasy gear. This one comes straight from fantasy novels and old RPG manuals. Spiked maces, iron flails, giant clubs with chains. They look terrifying, sure, but on a cramped, slippery deck full of ropes and rigging, completely impractical. Heavy weapons were slow. They required space to swing, space that didn't exist on a moving ship. And if you dropped one, good luck retrieving anything that weighed more than you did. These monstrous weapons belong in medieval sieges, not Caribbean boarding actions. Pirates needed speed, mobility, and tools that wouldn't tear their own wrists apart if they struck a rail by accident. But the next weapon myth isn't just impractical. It was genuinely dangerous for the pirates themselves. Section 8. The pirate grenade lie. Explosive grenados did exist, but the idea of pirates tossing them mid-boarding like action heroes is pure fantasy. In reality, grenados were unreliable, their fuses unpredictable, and the risk enormous. One bad throw and you'd set your own deck ablaze. Moisture ruined the powder. Misfires were common, and the close-packed nature of ship combat made explosions incredibly risky. Most pirates preferred intimidation, firing pistols, shouting threats, blasting with grape shot, not playing with unstable bombs. When grenados were used, it was usually before boarding, not during it. A psychological shock tactic, a way to panic a crew before pirates rushed in with blades. And now that we've torn down the myths, let's talk about what pirates actually trusted with their lives. So what did pirates really use? Not scimitars, not rifles, not katanas, not throwing axes, and definitely not handheld cannons or fantasy flails. Instead, they relied on brutally simple, brutally effective weapons: short cutlasses, boarding pikes, daggers, multiple flintlock pistols, and the occasional mounted swivel gun. Real pirate combat wasn't stylish. It was fast, chaotic, and terrifying. And the truth is far more interesting than the myths Hollywood invented. If you enjoyed this deep dive into pirate reality, make sure to subscribe to My History Bites for more hidden history, lost legends, and shocking truths from the Golden Age of Piracy. There's so much more to explore, and the real stories are always better than the fiction.